Okay, folks, here's the latest on the Keith Lamont Scott shooting and some details that have been put out by an unofficial Megyn Kelly website. The gun recovered from Keith Lamont Scott was reported stolen. I'm going to read for you the entire deal here, and then you can make of it what you will. Not that this will make the least bit of difference with the Black Lives Matter conspiracy crowd, who would believe the moon is made of blue cheese if clowns like Shaun King tell them so. Multiple sources confirmed to WBTV Monday that the gun police say was found in Keith Lamont Scott's possession when he was fatally shot by a Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer was reported stolen. The gun, sources said, was reportedly stolen in a residential breaking and entering. The sources said the man accused of stealing the gun was interviewed and is on record stating he sold the gun to Scott. Police have not released any information about the man accused of stealing the gun and selling it to Scott. Scott, 43, was killed on September 20th while police were serving a warrant at the Village at College Downs apartment complex on Old Concord Road in Northeast Charlotte. His death sparked protesting across the city, erupting in violence. Scott's family has said he did not own a gun, but police said they recovered a gun at the scene of the shooting. According to our news partners at the Charlotte Observer, in 2005, he was convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after he shot and injured a man in San Antonio, Texas. He fired more than 10 rounds from a 9mm pistol, a spokesman for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice told the Observer. In October 2015, Scott's wife, Rakia, filed for a restraining order against him, the Observer reports. The Observer said in her petition, she said that law enforcement officials should consider her husband a potential threat because he carried a 9mm gun. Friday, a police source confirmed to WBTV that the gun reportedly found near the body of Keith Lamont Scott has Scott's fingerprints, DNA, and blood on it. The source also told WBTV the case in the gun was loaded. They went on to write, "Nice of these lunatics to try and torch the city down in pursuit of a fraudulent narrative. Meanwhile, one protester admitted to killing another last Wednesday." Okay, this is classic right-wing strategy. They obviously have to confirm that he had a gun, and they have to give you a narrative on how he obtained the gun. They also have to go back in and give you the man's history, especially when they can find some dirt. Now, in my opinion, this is bullshit. They don't release the name of the person who supposedly sold this gun to Mr. Scott. There is no official release of this information by the police department. Only that sources inside the police department state. Okay? They always cite their sources, but they never want to name these sources. And since they're making a statement about the police department, it should be fairly easy for them to ask the police department a question and get an answer, since the police department has been so good with dropping and leaking everything else. Now, apparently, if this guy carried a 9mm pistol, and this they want to allege is the pistol that they found, how long ago did he supposedly buy this pistol. And also, how fortunate it is that they caught the guy who broke into the house and stole the pistol and then apparently sold this pistol to Mr. Scott. It seems very convenient to me that if this crime occurred a year ago and now all of a sudden they had this man in custody, that he gives up the fact that he stole this particular pistol and sold this particular pistol to Mr. Scott. There's just, there's too much spinning going on here as far as I'm concerned. Because how would the person who claimed that he sold this particular pistol to Mr. Scott know that this was actually a pistol that he sold to him? Doesn't make sense. It sounds to me like the police found somebody who they had some leverage over, and in order to give this guy a break, they got him to say that he sold a pistol to Mr. Scott and that this is the pistol. Okay, and again, let's just be clear. The person said that he sold the gun. He didn't say he sold a gun. He said he sold the gun. And the only way for him to know that he sold the gun that they found is that he actually saw the gun and could recognize it from, you tell me, because the pictures of the gun look pretty much the same as any type of gun of that make and model. There wasn't any names scratched into it, no special handles, no other features, so that this guy would know that he sold the gun that they found to Mr. Scott is problematic at best. A better scenario would be that the police recovered the gun that was stolen during that breaking and entering, but that they held it out. And the person that held it out basically contaminated that gun, as I've done a previous video on how that gun was able to have his DNA and blood on it, and the fact that we don't have any video, so at any point in time, if that particular officer was alone, he could have gotten or transferred Mr. Scott's fingerprints onto that gun. But it's more likely that the cops came into possession of that gun and planted it than they came into contact with the person who broke into the residence, stole the gun, and then sold it to Mr. Scott. So that person, whoever it is going to have to give us the specific details. And I don't need the details of the breaking and entering, though those would be helpful. But exactly where and when he came into contact with Mr. Scott in order to sell him the gun. Just another line of attack and cover up by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and the far right or white supremacists, you take your pick, in order to try to cover the police department's asses. Just my opinion.